Good afternoon and welcome. This is Angus Levy for Binary Option Networking. This afternoon's webinar is slightly different from what we normally do. Normally we trade and make money, but because today there is a bank holiday, not just in the USA, but in the UK, two of the main markets, we're actually not going to be doing any live trading today. The reason for that is quite simple, that when major markets have bank holidays, there's less liquidity and it's more difficult to trade accurately. So without further ado, let's get going. Now, basically what I'm going to do this afternoon is talk to you about a bit about myself and trading, my philosophy behind trading. I'm going to go through also Binary Option Networking, the group, and what our basic mission is and goals. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff we use for that. There may be some people watching who have no experience of binary options, and this is really to help you also understand a little bit more about it. First, a little bit about myself. I have been trading for over 10 years now, and I've traded stocks and options for that period of time. But, you know, they're sort of long-term trades generally. Options themselves, I would take on stocks, were generally about a month long, and I would do calendar spreads and straddles and that sort of thing for those who understand what those are. But about a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer, I got introduced to binary options, probably the same way most of you did, through some affiliate advert or something offering you easy and quick money through a robot trading online automatically for you. I took one up, and I can't honestly remember the name of the broker I had to sign up with, but the robot did what was expected and lost 50% in the first week. So I was not impressed, and they had a money-back guarantee. I went back to the producers. I said, you know, can I have my money back because it's lost 50%? And they said, no, you have to get it off the broker. And of course, the broker says, yeah, no problem. We'll give it to you, and you just have to trade 50 times the amount we give you, and you're not allowed to take any money out until you have, blah, blah, blah. In other words, it was worthless. So having said that, it piqued my interest, and I blew the rest of that account pretty quickly and decided that, you know, really I need to learn this properly. I had enough sense to know that with any type of trading, you don't just dive in without knowing what you're doing. So I joined a few groups, and I began to learn about charts and indicators, the rest of it. Like many others, I made mistakes as well, and blew one or two more accounts before I started to get serious. I then started to click with binary options, and started to understand and see the patterns and everything else. I then went from there to joining Binary Option Networking, which at the time was run by another person by the name of Kurt, and we started working together and building up the group and providing people a bit of training and signals and stuff. Unfortunately, Kurt went through a tough time personally and left the group. And it was around that time I had actually been working on what we're doing at present, and I developed it more, and Leon helped me with producing the actual arrow indicators we use now. And we started doing, well, I started doing regular daily trading. Um, Generally, what I was doing back then was working on a basis of just trading for an hour twice a day and seeing how many trades we could take, which was fine. But, you know, we still had our good days and our bad days, especially around last Christmas when the markets had a lot of constriction. We had a lot of breakouts and stuff. And we were adding in new indicators to help protect against that. And we're now where we are today. I'm just going to go back here, where we have our present charting system here. It's constantly in development. And to be honest, looking at it for a newbie, you go, oh my God, how would I ever be able to understand, let alone trade this, which is very true. It's, you know, at first sight, it is just so confusing. You wouldn't have a clue what to do. And it's because of that that I don't recommend any new people trade straight off the bat with a live account. I recommend you take your time. For some people, it can be as little as a couple of weeks. Others may need months to really learn and understand how this all works. But basically, you have to go back to fundamentals and understand what is currency trading for a start. Well, basically, currency trading is taking two currencies and trading the difference or spread between them. At the moment, we have Euro USD up here, and you can see it's sort of in the last couple of hours, it's gone between 111. 425 down to 111,335, about 100 pipettes. And Forex traders make their money by the difference in the spread, okay? And they can lose, you know, it depends which way they go. You can make money or lose money, obviously. But binary options is quite different. It's a different product altogether. Binary options is a win or lose situation. You either win your trade or you lose it. If you win, you get back anywhere between 70 and 85%. It varies from broker to broker. With ETX, who we recommend, it is on average 75 to 80%. Now, that leaves you with, you know, when you've got a win or lose, it changes the way you do things as well. For a start, it becomes quite different in the way it's looked at from a regulatory point of view. It's no longer, strictly speaking, trading. It becomes known as gambling because it's a win or lose scenario. Okay, we are still trading, but from the authorities' point of view, it no longer becomes trading, where you can make a bit of profit or lose a little bit, you know, rather than all or nothing. And binary brokers started springing up all over the place in the last few years, many offering very good incentives and bonuses and all of this sort of thing. The problem was it wasn't properly regulated, and you started to get a lot of sharks, and still have them in place, who, to be honest, their only interest is in you losing money. Same as a casino. A casino isn't interested in you winning, they're only interested in you losing. And I'm sure you've heard the stories about people who've lost money because basically they couldn't get their money back out of the broker. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to help people to learn how to trade binaries in a safe manner, as safe as possible, while at the same time creating an income with as little down payment as possible. And also to find a broker that I could trust and you could trust. That's where about a year ago, I met ETX Capital. Now, ETX Capital are a big company owned by Monocore. They've been going since the mid-60s. And they are not just a binary broker. They offer full service trading, Forex, CFDs, that's contracts for difference, etc. ETX Capital is FCA regulated. FCA are the regulatory authority in the UK. However, their binary options are not regulated by FCA because FCA do not regulate binaries. They are, however, regulated by the Gaming Commission in the UK, which still has quite some teeth. The thing is, though, that ETX have been really treating their binary clients in the same way as they would their Forex clients. And I've been to their offices, I've met the senior people, and I'm very comfortable with them. So far, we've been using them since September. I've not had one issue with withdrawals with either myself or any of our members. And that, I can tell you, is quite unusual. They have quite a good customer service. I mean, they are strict with their verification, which you'd expect them to be from money laundering point of view, but they're great. Going back to my mission has always been to help people, A, learn how to trade binaries, and B, to also have the option to create a reasonable and decent income from trading binaries with as little down payment as necessary. And then Leon actually came up with this idea a couple of months ago, and it struck a chord with me. The idea was to trade just 5 trades per session, 10 a day. And starting off with a minimum account of just 1,200, building that account up each day, so this is each day, okay, and this is each session, 5 sessions a day, taking your trades at 75% return, starting at 10 euros or dollars a trade. ETX, their minimum trade is $10. So according to our money management program, all of this can be downloaded, by the way, on our file section in the group. You just input your trade size and your profit per trade, and it tells you what your minimum trade is. And also, we use a system called martingaling, where we recover any losses, and we can go up to 60 based on the system. So this tells us that we need 1,200 minimum to trade $10. So starting off at 1,200, you take 10 trades a day. In your first day, you've made $68. Now, we average our 5 trades in half an hour. So that would be roughly an hour's trading gets you 68 on your first day. And over the course of the first week, the profit would be roughly 400. And just notice, though, that as your profit increases, so too, or your balance increases, I should say, so too does your potential initial trade size. So it goes 10, 11, 12, and so on. So at the end of the first week, you will be on 1,600 and 13 euro trade size initially. At the end of your second week, you'll be on 2,174 and 18 euros per trade. And then you'll be on roughly where we are now. I think we're on Let me just double check. Yeah, we're on 1271, which is, where are we? 1271. We are roughly here. Okay, so we're just starting the third week of our system here. Now, after a month, you'll be on roughly 4,000. Okay, of a balance at $33 per trade, making $24.75, which actually per win, which actually translates into just under 250 euros per day trading. Now that's not a bad little take-home pay for most people. And then by the end of the second month, you'll be on 13,730 with $114 trades, bringing in 850 per day trading, which I think is plenty for most people. Now, are there risks? Yes, there is. Absolutely. The risk is that you go 6 deep and lose, and you can lose everything. That is the risk. However, with our system, we have two different types of trading. We have signals which tell us when price is overbought and oversold, and we expect it to reverse. But we also have another type of signal, which we've been using fairly recently, which is this green one here and this purple one, and we have a white one as well, which tells us when price is expected to continue in a particular direction. That can help us if we, for example, go 4 deep in a particular trade and we're a little uncertain. We can just wait for these reversal signals and wait for them to win for us. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the indicators now, and I can cover all of that later on with you guys if you have any questions. I'll be opening the mics shortly. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions on indicators or anything else I've discussed so far. But I just want to give you sort of a grounding of how our philosophy works. Just going back to ETX for a moment. I started this account back on the 10th of May with 1,292, okay? We were doing really well, but in our first week, I made an error, and the error was all mine. I took a trade 5 deep, and my 5th entry was 4 seconds late entering. And the candle won, but because of my late entry, price reversed. Let's say this was the winning candle. Price reversed in the beginning of the following candle, and I actually lost. And I ended up down 920. And I had to think about it. And I decided to suck it up, the loss, and just carry on from there. So I was back to $10 or 10 euros per trade, and I had to work my way back up. So in the following week, I brought the account back up to where it is now, 2,271. So in all, I'm up 979 euros since we started the account, but it's up 40% in the last week. And that's the average you can expect to make, around 40% a week. Will you get to be making 850 a day in 8 weeks? You might. But to be quite honest, one of the things about trading is you always have to be prepared to accept a loss now and again. The problem, though, is that this particular system also requires quite a strong nerve, okay? because there are times when we have to go pretty deep. And here, for example, started off at 16, then we went to 37, 87, 203. And after that, it would have been 450 probably. And all the time you'd see your balance whittling down. Some people find this really difficult, and they stop. Let's say you go 3 deep and you say, oh, I can't go any deeper. And they go back to starting at 16 again. Now, the problem here is that you've actually left on the table about 150 euros or so. You can't do, well, not quite 150, about 130 here. And to recover that, you're going to need to win about 30 or 40 trades. In other words, it's going to take you 2 or 3 days of trading to recover. It takes some practice to be able to train your mind to go and trust the signals and trade that 5th trade if necessary, even your 6th trade. That's why I recommend people practice on demo as much as possible. Because it's inevitable that you will come to a situation where you need to go deep and you have to be able to take that. Otherwise, you'll end up as like I did when I said, okay, I'm just going to go and take that 5th entry loss. It's put me back about a week and a half. Okay, I'm a week and a half behind where I should be. But that was something I was willing to do. And I also considered it probably good practice just to show you guys how you can do that. And before you know it, be back up making decent money. Just to show you the money we actually made last week, so Monday to Friday, we made 623.90, which again is not a bad income for most people. And we did that in less than 4 hours, probably only around 3 hours trading, because most days we were doing our 5 trades in 15 minutes. So we were actually trading only half an hour, at most 45 minutes a day. Okay, why do we only take 5 trades per session? Well, the reasoning is quite simple. The less you're in the market, the less likely you're going to hit what's called a breakout, where price just keeps on going. Breakouts tend to happen just after a period of constriction where price narrows down to a very small amount. For example, here it's, look at that, it's only 15, 16 pipettes. And we have a system here, this indicator here, which warns us of danger in trading. There's our danger level here, 0.0005. So we wouldn't be trading now at this level at all. And again, that's why we're not trading today, because there's no liquidity in the market. This, although it's not infallible, in other words, it's not perfect, it does protect us from trading when we shouldn't be trading. Okay, I think I've covered most of the things I want to speak about today, and I hope you've got a better idea of where we're coming from and what we're hoping to achieve. My intention with this particular account is to build it up for another month and then start taking profit. I'm not going to build it all the way up to, for example, 18,000, where we'd be able to make 1,000 a day. I'm not greedy, and I don't need that much, but certainly 500 a day I'd be quite happy with, taking out of the market in an hour a day, and then putting aside the extra profit. Or, to be honest, what I'd probably be doing is taking 1,000 a week out and the rest leave in there to build a buffer, so that if I do make a mistake, and I do make mistakes, I'm not going to blow my whole account, I can just start again. So I'm going to open the mics now, guys, if anyone has questions, you're going to be able to ask them. So you can actually unmute yourself if anyone has a question, and please feel free to go ahead and ask me any questions you have on the system or my philosophy or anything else. I'll take questions on the charting system as well from any of our more experienced people, anyone who wants to ask me anything there as well. Okay, anyone with any questions? You can also type it in if you want. Okay, DH is asking, so we'd have to sign up to ETX Capital. If you want to join our trading sessions, you do have to, because that's how I get paid. They are the only, I'll be quite honest with you, they're the only broker I feel comfortable recommending. I am an affiliate with several other brokers, but the only one I feel really comfortable recommending to you guys is ETX. Okay, is there a cost? I'm being asked. The cost is for, if you want to purchase the actual trading system itself, okay, in other words, the indicators, the cost is $300, okay. Now, we are looking at expanding it with these reversal ones, which we're just testing at the moment. That may increase the cost because that is not my signal. These yellow ones are, the other ones are not. They belong to Leon, and he obviously would want to make a charge for that. So for the full system, you may be talking about 450. Now, you don't have to purchase the whole system. If you join us on the sessions, you can see the charts live with me. I am looking at the whole business structure and how we might change going forward. I may be changing to a subscription system where you can use your own broker and subscribe just to join the trading sessions, and I'll be calling 5 trades per session as normal. Or there may be a reduced monthly fee if you sign up through one of our affiliates. I'm also looking at the possibility of, again, having a monthly fee where we have the charts running constantly on a VPN so that everyone can see the charts without having to have them running on their own computer. So there's 2 things I'm looking at. Haven't decided anything yet. Okay, Jonathan is asking how much was the most you made in a day or a week, and how much you plan to profit per day before stopping compounding. That's a really good question, Jonathan. The most I've ever made in a week is 12,000, I think, no, 11,000. That was back last summer, where now I was putting in minimum 4 hours, I think, trading. It was pretty stressful, I'll be honest with you. But I started with $1,000 account and brought it up to 12,000 in a week. When we were trading, before this, we were trading $25 trades. We were making anywhere from 400 to 1,000 a day. That would be based on a $3,000 account or euro account. Where would I stop compounding? I think for myself, I'm not actually using a compounding system as such, even though I have it here on our spreadsheet. Mine is a martingale system where we just recover our losses. But compounding is also when the signals are really good and are coming in, majority of the time, first or second entries, you can use compounding, and that grows your account really fast. For example, if you were to take let's go back and just take a $10 trade. $10 trade, if you were to compound that 4 times, you make, I think it's 94 euros profit. And it's really fast compared to 750 times 4. You're talking about 30. So it's about, I think, 2.5 times the profit, if memory serves me right. But no, I just, at the moment, I just take the 750 per winning trade, and I think we're on 19 per trade now, so we're making roughly about 150 per day. Because sometimes you might take a trade and it may tie at the last second, but you've already martingaled up to the next figure, so you actually win on the double or even more. So sometimes I might make extra profit. Okay. Yeah, well, we take 10 winning trades per day. Now, I go back to here. You can see our sort of average profit and loss. So there's 15 trades here, okay, and we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. So it would have been 9-6, okay. So roughly, we average about 2/3 of our trades would be profitable. And that's about right. You can actually go right down to 30% winning trades and still be profitable, because with this system you always recover your losses. Okay, you always recover your losses, and therefore end in profit. So I actually don't care whether my percentage win rate is 75% or 20%. All I'm looking for is my 10 winning trades in the day. And I like to get in and out very quickly, so I don't give the market any opportunity to give me a loss. At the moment, we've got breakouts here in GU and EG. You can see it was quite heavily constricted there. Price has now come back up above the 8 level. So we would normally say, yeah, you can start trading again. But when we've had a period of constriction, I prefer to wait for that breakout to stop before we start taking trades on those pairs again. How many hours do I personally trade per day? Lee asks me. Lee, I only trade the 1 hour. I take my 10 trades. Now, I will say there are 1 or 2 other times I trade. I might help people out who are struggling a little bit and trade their accounts for them with their permission, just to help boost them up, some of the members. But personally, I only trade when you see me trading in the sessions. That's the only time I'm trading my accounts. So look, what you're looking to do is if you're trading over a long period of time, it requires quite a lot of concentration, and you will find yourself making mistakes. You've all seen me do it, those of you who've been with me a long time. The ideal is to just trade maximum an hour a day. So we trade at 8 a.m. We might be finished by 8:15 or 8:30. And then I go away, do a bit of admin on the group, maybe go for a walk with my wife. And then I come back and we trade again at midday. This is UK time, for another 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever is required to win our 5 trades. And then I shut down. I'm out of there. Now, the only exception to that is if I'm working on someone else's account to help them. Now, please don't inundate me with requests. I will not do more than 1 or 2. It's up to me whether I help people or not, okay? I didn't trade Forex, Jonathan. Never traded Forex. It was stocks and options I was trading. But to be honest, there's not a huge difference between the two, except how you take the trade. 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. And I was trading up to $1 million, an account of over $1 million at one stage. Well, it all depends on the size. Okay, let me just bring this over so everyone can see here. Jonathan, just to what Jonathan is saying, what happens if someone goes 6 deep? Well, if you go 6 deep and you lose, okay, and you're only running on the minimum size account, then you blow your account, okay? And the idea is you win within your 6th trade. Now, if you do what I recommend and start with a much bigger account, maybe only trade, in other words, let's say, you start with 2,500, then personally, I would recommend you start with $10 trades, okay? So that if you do go 6 deep, you're only losing half your account and you can start again. But I've shown you, well, I've shown the members in the last couple of weeks, you know, I went 5 deep, and due to my own error, I lost 920, and I just went back to $10 trades and built the account back up in the last week again. Withdrawals depends on how often do you withdraw? Well, that depends on your account and what your own personal requirements are. With me, as I said, I'll be trading up to the end of June. So that will bring me to week 6. Let me just go back here. Week 6. So I'll be bringing it up to roughly 7,500. And then I'll start to you'll see me taking maybe 1,000 a week out from that, because I'll be making 450 to 500 a day at that stage. So I'll be making 250, taking out 1,000. So my account will be growing roughly 1,500 a week. Stefan is asking me, hold on, let me go through these one at a time. The questions are coming fast and thick. 10 daily trades incorporates risk management strategy, discipline and emotional control. Absolutely, Matt. All of those things are really important. And just to give you a bit more feedback about myself, I'm actually a hypnotherapist. In the afternoons and evenings, I work with people who suffer from all sorts of different problems, mainly emotional, trauma, people with phobias, that sort of thing. But one of the things I also work with and have with some of the members is helping them with their emotional control and to be disciplined in their trading. And I have produced actually some recordings, and I must actually post them up again for you guys to listen to, which just helps you in developing that mindset that you need. Stefan's asking me, am I planning option trading group? No, I'm not. I don't do options anymore. I don't trade, actually. I no longer trade stocks or options. This is the only trading I do. And I really enjoy it, I have to say. Yeah, of course you've got times of stress, but you know, with what I like about this is and the way we trade very fast, 60-second trades. we're in and out. Okay, we just take our little bit of profit. And this is part of the secret, not being greedy. You know, I've come across people who say, oh, I want to make, you know, 10,000 a day. I want to make 100,000 a week. I want to, you know, great. Okay, more power to you, but I can guarantee you, you're going to lose at some stage. You know, think about, what do you need to have a comfortable lifestyle? Don't be greedy, you know. You know, if a comfortable lifestyle for you is 1,000 a week, brilliant. If a comfortable lifestyle for you is 2,000 or 2,500 a week, brilliant. Create a plan that's going to allow you to do that in as little time as possible, being in the market. And what I'm looking at showing you here is how you can create, you know, an income of 100,000 or 200,000 or even 300,000 a year, okay, with only trading half an hour to an hour a day. That is basically what I'm looking at, showing you how you can do it. That is not necessarily what I intend to do. I'm, you know, for me, 100,000 is I'm happy with that. Hey, if I earn 300,000, great, you know, but that's not necessarily what I need. I'm talking about euros because I live in Ireland, but you know, it's dollars, euros, pounds. It's immaterial, Jonathan. It's whatever you require for yourself. So what I recommend for you folks is you decide, what do I need to replace my JOB? And at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking to help you folks achieve. Financial freedom from the necessity to get up at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, travel an hour or whatever you have to commute to work, do your 8 hours work, travel home another hour, be exhausted, tired, you know, not having time for your family that you might like to, when you can just spend an hour a day, take your little bit of profit, spend the time with your family, and do what you want. Jonathan, you're asking me questions which I haven't even decided on yet, to be quite honest. I'm quite happy at 500 a day, yeah. I'm more than comfortable with that. Having said that, I will probably build up the account, you know, still taking my 1,000 or 2,000 a week out of the account, and keep building it up so I can prove to you guys that this can work. I don't actually, I'll be honest with you, I don't actually have any books that I recommend necessarily. However, Jonathan, what was that book we were talking about last week, which was about creating the correct mindset? There you go. The Disciplined Trader, perfect, thank you. Trading in the Zone, that's the one I was thinking of. Excellent. These are 2 really good books that I can recommend for you to download or buy. Excellent books. And look, I'm a trained engineer as well, and when I was welding, learning to weld in college, what our teacher was telling us was, guys, it's 90% preparation, 10% welding, okay? Preparing the material for welding is 90% of the job. Making sure you've got your butts right, your joins right, the right angle, everything else, that's 95% of what you do. Welding is simple. Anyone can do welding, you know, with a bit of practice. But it's having the materials prepared for the welding is what is so important. And it's the same with trading. It's 90%, guys, certainly 70% mindset, okay? Any of you who've been trading long enough know this. It's 90% mindset, and the rest is just following the rules. The way to lose money is not to follow the rules. Okay, breaking the rules will get you, will allow you to lose your account. And anyone who's been trading binaries for long enough can put their hand up and say, I've broken the rules and I've paid the price. Okay, I trade Monday to Friday. I trade twice a day at 8 a.m. UK Irish time and midday UK Irish time. I don't like trading in the afternoons, especially once the European market closes at around 4 o'clock. I do not like trading the US market on its own. Absolutely not. Because then liquidity falls away and the US banks have control and they just start pushing the market where they like. The other thing to understand, guys, is, if every single individual small trader like you and me were to put a trade on the same direction, on the same currency pair, we wouldn't actually be shifting the market. We wouldn't. The banks control 95% of the direction of the market. That's the first thing to understand. I had another program for a while there which actually showed me who was in control of the market. Well, it didn't show me the names of the banks, but it showed me how many banks and what percentage they were controlling. And it's roughly 80 to 95% of the market is controlled by 4 or 5 banks at any one stage. And if those banks decide, hey, guys, we want to push the price to this place, they're going to push it to that place, no matter what you and I do. And that's, again, why I like the 1-minute trades, because quite often they're quite nasty. You'll see coming up to the half hour and quarter hour and hour, you'll see sudden movements. And that is the banks basically stealing the money off the small traders. Okay. Okay, well, basically, DH, what you need to do, you're asking how to join us. What you need to do is send me I'll just type in here, send me a Skype contact request, and I'll add you into our trading group, which we have in Skype, and it's a trial group. And I put up the link to the trading page, a bit like for this webinar, a few minutes before we start trading twice a day. Success for newbies, that varies. I'll allow them to, if anyone wants to, pop in their own experience. Those who are following me on the sessions are doing well. I'll be honest with you, some people have blown their accounts by not following the rules and doing their own thing. But anyone who's following me and taking the trades I call are doing fine. They should be, because if you're following what I do, you are making money. And as I showed you earlier on, in the last week, just taking small trades, we made 623 profit. Roughly, you make on a volume basis. I always average about 10% of profit to volume traded. That's correct, Matt. I don't want to see anyone who's a newbie trading live within the first 2 weeks to a month, because you have to learn the system. There's a lot to learn, and you have to become comfortable with the way I trade and understanding how I trade, and doing that too. One thing I forgot to mention, another thing we have is our PDQ. I'm just going to open that up now, just to show you. Our PDQ is, what's PDQ stands for pretty damn quick, and it is a wonderful little tool that one of our members has developed, and it was something I just mentioned sort of in passing one day during the sessions. Wouldn't it be great to have a little program that we could just use to take trades without having to see? Let me just go back to the trading room as such, just to explain what I'm talking about. When you take a trade, okay, the first thing you have to do is click on your favorites. Now you see these two are closed at the moment. You then you have to click on whatever pair you want to trade. You have to click on your call or put. You have to click on. You have to go back 2 keys and then punch in whatever trade size you're taking, and then you have to click on the invest. That takes 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, with the PDQ, what we do is we input our initial trade size, which in this case is 19. I've done that already, and then I can select call or put. Okay, and then I just click here, and it automatically, now it's not taking the trade now because normally this page is on my other monitor, so it can't take it, but literally it takes it instantly. So it's literally 2-click trading, call, put, and enter. And then our martingale prices are already in here, and it's so if we lose a particular trade, we just click on the next one and click again on our pair. It's fast, simple, and that one, I think he's looking at charging, I can't remember exactly, but it's something like $79 or euros. But that would pay for itself in a few days on trades that, you know, being able to take trades that normally you might miss because it takes you 3 seconds to set it up. Because sometimes trades come in literally at the last second, and you want to be able to take it. Well, 99% of the time, Jonathan, the banks are using very similar indicators. They're using all the same stuff we have. And don't forget, they're fighting against each other. In other words, the European bank will be up against the USD bank, and they both have their own reasons for wanting price to be at a certain level, and they'll be usually within a particular defined region. What changes the way price goes? News changes it. Economic news. For example, we look at my FX book economic calendar. Just wait for that to upload. And first thing I do before we start trading every session is check what news is out. I'm not interested in medium or low. I'm only looking for the red ones. Okay, so tomorrow, well, at 2:30 in the morning, I'm not going to be too bothered. But yeah, it's these ones are the ones I look for. And then I decide, are they going to affect the currencies we trade? Now, to be honest, the real ones I'm looking for are the euro and USD, okay? Because those are the only ones that shift price in any real way. The other thing you have to be aware of is general news that might affect the currencies that we're trading. For example, last week we noticed unusual movement in GBP. We couldn't understand what it was. And then one of the members came out with, showed us that there was a poll just out in in the UK, which showed most interest in favour of, voters in favour of remaining within the euro, the European, the EEC basically. And that suddenly shot GU up in value and EG down. So those are the sort of things that can make price change. But our indicators are generally pretty accurate. I wouldn't claim them to be accurate today, and that's why we're not trading. But generally we win within second or third trade, sometimes going into fourth or even fifth at times. We go, how often have I gone 60? I would generally say when I was trading 2 hours a day, I would have probably gone 60 maybe once a week. Yeah. And that, I can tell you, takes nerve. Since we've been doing this particular system, I don't think I've gone 6 deep at all during the sessions. Okay, guys, any more questions? I love the questions. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, who was it, DH. I really appreciate your input here. It's great. I love it. But we are coming up to an hour. So unless anyone has any more questions, I'm going to close this session. For those of you who are new and would like to have a sample of how we trade, join our trading group. I'll give you 2 weeks where you can join our trading group and sessions. So just send me a contact request to Angus Levy, one word. I'll just type it in once more on Skype and I'll add you to the group. Please, in the message box, just say, please add me to the bonds trading trial group. And I'll do so. Also, I get literally hundreds of requests for friendship in Facebook. If I don't know you, I'm not going to add you, okay? The other thing I want to just warn people, oh, hi Daniela, thank you. Just one thing I want to warn you about is scammers. Unfortunately, Facebook is rife with scammers, rife with them. Be very careful. Our group has roughly 2,800 in it, but I get so many requests to join. Okay, I'm just going to show you here. This person I will probably accept because they're in more than a year, okay? This person I'm going to take a look at. They're a member of 574 groups. First thing that screams to me is they're an affiliate. Who needs to be a member of 574 groups? Less than 5 days, they're an affiliate. A lot of these are false. This guy, Butters, Kenneth Lee, I can guarantee you immediately that guy that's not a genuine, and I checked them all out. See this Richard Levina? He's already been banned by Skype. Henry Fisher, I can promise you, is also a false profile as well. So many of them. I've got hundreds of them here. People who've requested to join who I have no intention of accepting because I take a look at their profiles. If I see any sign of affiliates or scammers, no way. I just don't accept them. And that keeps our group clean. That's why you may notice that we have very few spammy, scammy posts. You go to most of the other binary option groups and you see just so many of them. So just a word of warning, be careful, eyes wide open, watch out for the people who say, join me and I will make you €6,000 with a $250 or $500 investment. Oh yeah, by the way, you have to send it to me via Western Union. Yeah, just to my friend in Nigeria, okay? Just, I know I'm laughing, I'm being facetious, but, you know, so many people have been caught out. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. Anyone who pays me through PayPal. If they're not happy, they can make a complaint to PayPal. So far, nobody has, thankfully. And at the end of the day, all I'm looking to do is to help you guys in a safe way create a reasonable income for yourself. So, any more questions, or shall I call a halt? Sorry, Daniela. Daniela is a friend of mine, so she was coming incognito. Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan. One more question. I like to keep these webinars to an hour max. I just want to thank everyone who has taken part and joined. I appreciate your time, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have privately as well. No problem. Okay, maximum trade size for ETX on 1 minute trades, which we do, is 2,000. And on their minimum is 10. On 5 minute and longer trades, or high lows, I should say, it goes up to 5,000. But we trade short term 60-second trades, and it's 2,000. Now it was 1,500, and I think their minimum before was 15, and I managed to get them to reduce their minimum to 10 and increase it to their maximum to 2,000. And who knows, I might be able to encourage them to do the same again. Do they do 30-second trades? Let me just check. No, they do 60, 90, 2, 3, and 5 minute on the short trades. It's 60 seconds from whenever you execute the trade. Now, we always, within our group, we always execute our trade literally in the last 2 seconds of the previous candle. So when the counter here comes down to 2, you'd see me, you'll hear me say enter, and you'll see me take my own trade. And the reason for that is when you're trading 1 minute trades, usually in the beginning of each candle, you'll see a sudden jerk up or down one way or the other. Not usually, but often. And if you're late taking a trade, you have there is a danger you may be blown out at the beginning of your next minute, even though up to then you were winning. Okay. Okay, folks, we've been just over an hour. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I may do another session like this again in a couple of weeks' time, where anyone can join and ask questions. But I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.